You're now listening to Hispanics Causing Panic, baby. Let's do this.
But right now, Hispanics are causing black. But right now, Hispanics are causing black. Yeah, Hispanics are causing panic.
What's going on, everybody? This is the 89th edition of Hispanics Causin Panic. I'm being joined by my co-host, Nancy, from the Boxing Republic. Make sure you listen to the show on your Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeart, the whole nine. We have a great show lined up for you today, from the good, the bad, the ugly of the weekend. Rumors talking about Canelo possibly fighting a YouTuber or a UFC fighter. That's interesting. Of course, in a moment, we'll have the artist Patrick Killian on with us. We'll be doing 2 poster giveaways and all that good stuff. And we also have a guest host with us today here, Mike. Okay, how's it going, brother?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Doing great, man. Looking forward to doing this great show. A lot to talk about. Okay, also Ryan Garcia, by the way, saying he's back, although he's not going to be fighting Isaac Cruz, everybody. Sorry to tell you. You know what I mean? And a lot of stuff to talk about. But let's go ahead and bring on our guest of the evening, the one and the only Patrick Killian. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, all. I'm good. Thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's a pleasure having you on. First of all, yesterday, and I want to ask all of you this. So yesterday was the 80th birthday of Muhammad Ali. Right, he would have been 80 years old today.
You can't see the shirt, but wearing my favorite Muhammad Ali shirt.
Well, there you go. Now, of course,
I'll show it later.
well, there you go. And look, we're going to be giving away a poster, of course. But let's first talk about the man. And I'll start with you, Patrick. What's your favorite thing about Muhammad Ali? Like, what's the first thing that stands out to you when you think about the GOAT, Muhammad Ali?
Well, I grew up in the Tyson era, sort of 86. I was 12 years old. So it was never really my time. And I think it wasn't until later in life that I started to become a fan after watching him and sort of hearing all the stories. And I think when you start to look back, the benefits of YouTube and everything, and you look back and you see the guy that he was and the character and the things that he stood up for, and not just a phenomenal fighter. I think it was just the way that he would talk about stuff and the way that he would just rattle it off, and he was just amazing to watch. So I think, Cleveland Williams. I think watching him against Cleveland Williams, and I think, wow, what a fighter.
Yeah.
Obviously, the George Foreman and everything. I mean, but he was special, wasn't he? He could do it all. It wasn't just the fighting; it was the talking behind it, and what he stood for and everything.
Okay. What about you, Mike? What's your favorite thing about Muhammad Ali? What comes to mind when Muhammad Ali?
Rumble in the Jungle, probably, and Thriller Manila, obviously. Same way as Patrick said, I wasn't old enough to watch him. I'm 89 baby, so I grew up Chavez, Morales, all that. But as I started to learn more about boxing, I looked more at Muhammad Ali and everything he did in the ring, everything he did outside the ring, and I've told everybody Muhammad Ali is probably my favorite athlete, period, of all time, of any sport. And just I could watch Thriller Manila all day, especially hearing all the stories from it now, and talking to people that actually knew Muhammad Ali, and when they say, "Oh, look at this round" or "Look at this moment of the fight," and now I could see what they're talking about when he told them certain stories about things from that fight, like when he talks about the one punch that he was dazed from Foreman, where he was out of it for like 10 or 15 seconds. I could see now watching it when it was. And then when he said he could tell when Foreman was tired, when his punches were weaker, it's he was just, as he said, he was a special person, above boxing, above everything else. He was just special. There's no other way to put it.
All right. What about you, Nancy?
Yeah, kind of same thing. I mean, I can't say that I watched the fights after, right? Because of my age, but once I learned about Muhammad Ali, and actually, I learned more about what he was doing outside of the ring, the controversy outside of the ring, more than his actual fights. So there was a point where I could probably speak to that more before I learned more about his fights. To be able to call out, some of these, like the Cleveland Williams fight and so on. That came later because he did do so much. He was a humanitarian. He, was a philanthropist. I think it's like we can go on and on, about this man. And just as much as he was loved, he was also disliked. So I've personally enjoyed reading more about those moments in time when he was standing up, against a lot of adversity and still found a way to win both inside and outside of the ring. I really encourage people, Pat, knowing that you were going to join us. And by the way, I just love your artwork. Your Muhammad Ali pieces are fantastic. I've had the opportunity to actually go to the Muhammad Ali Museum in Kentucky, which is absolutely amazing. And I would say for any boxing fan, if you want to book a trip, like a boxing trip, and you have not made it out to the Ali Museum, you got to add it to the bucket list and get it done. It's 3 floors of not just everything about this man, but again, what was going on, during every season of this man's life. And they do have an area that's dedicated to the artwork of Muhammad Ali. An art gallery of sorts, and you can really just spend hours and hours there. So, to me, it was not just what he did in the ring, but outside of the ring.
Well, I'll tell you guys what's crazy is this, right? The internet didn't blow up till what, like late 90s or so?
Yeah.
90s.
It started in 95, and then we were on until early 2000s, really, was it?
Yeah, and then when did YouTube come out? 2007, 2006-ish?
I think 2004 or 5.
2006.
Okay, but and then it blew up around 7-ish, I think,
Wow.
Just think about that. I remember knowing about Muhammad Ali when I was in elementary school. There was no internet. There was nowhere for me to go watch his fights.
Mm-hmm.
There was nowhere to me. I just knew about Muhammad Ali because he made it impossible for you not to know about Muhammad Ali. Period. If any history course, somewhere in that textbook, it's going to talk about Muhammad Ali. At some point, somewhere, somehow, it's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the stories told about Muhammad Ali. It was one of the last boxers that people just told by word of mouth the story of this fighter, and they told it pretty accurately. When I watched the Rumble in the Jungle for the first time on YouTube, yeah, that's exactly how my grandfather described it. You know what I mean? Pretty much to the T. They weren't lying about this trilogy with Frazier. These were really good fights. You know what I mean? They were just part of history. They were part of a time when boxing was larger than life, and Ali was bigger than boxing, even when boxing was that big of a sport. So my favorite thing about Muhammad Ali is his trash talk. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's clean. He doesn't cuss. It's creative. You know. But when you ask dude, how tall are you? You know why? I want to know how far back I need to step back after I knock you out. Right? It's stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sting like a butterfly. You know. Like I mean, move like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I knew I butchered
We know
that
what you mean.
but to me, that's what stands out about Ali. Just the fact that people just know about him. He was always mentioned, and they would show highlights, right, of him. When I grew up watching Tyson, and when I grew up watching Chavez, like, so that's something I always think about when I think about Muhammad Ali, right? And now, I mean, yeah, you could watch all his fights on YouTube, and he does. He like everything the writer said, everything. There you go. You know what I mean? Everything that was said about this man was accurate. All of it. You know what I mean? The way he fought in the ring, it was all accurate. All of it. He moved like a middleweight 100%. You know what I mean?
You know, one of my, because you mentioned, you know, one of the most famous quotes, and knowing we were going to do the show today, I was thinking, what's one of my favorite quotes? You know, there's so many, and one of my most recent quotes, and I'll talk while we look at that amazing, I mean, just amazing.
Look at that poster. Who's going to win that poster?
I mean, that artwork is amazing. You know, as he shows that, I'll share that what's become one of my most recent favorite quotes by Ali is actually, "What's my name?" And that is from, so, you know, if you haven't gone to go get this book, Mr. Lee Groves, CompuBox, Muhammad Ali by the Numbers, he tells the story, you know, behind that quote. And that was the fight that he had back in February of '67, and that was against Ernie Terrell. And, you know, this was, I think, perhaps just a couple years, maybe less, when he had already taken up the Muhammad Ali name. And many refused to call him by his, you know, Muslim name. And, you know, to think of that now is bananas, right? But many did. And Ernie was one of them. And although he says that it wasn't intentional because he had known him for years. I mean, he had like sparred with him in years past. So he knew him as, you know, Cassius Clay. So one of the times that they were, I guess, getting interviewed prior to a fight, you know, he's like, well, I'm okay with it if Clay is. And so Muhammad Ali saw that as, you're not willing to call me by my Muslim name. So when Clay saw that, I'm sorry, when Ernie saw that it was getting under his skin, you know, he just, again, insisted on not calling him by his Muslim name. And so what happened? What did we get? Well, we got a fight where, you know, every jab, every punch, Muhammad Ali was asking him, "What's my name?" So, you know, that's one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah. What's my name? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. That's
What's my name?
Yeah, it's crazy. For those that don't know, his name was Cassius Clay, and then briefly Cassius X, and then it was Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean?
Cassius. I think I still say Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay.
Well, you know, he don't go by it anyway. You know what I mean?
But it is Muhammad Ali.
You only signed a very small number of things by all accounts, Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali. Do you know if that's right or not? But that's what I've been told. There's only a few items out there that have got both names on.
You know, I would believe that.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about what I just mentioned, right? That there was this era, this kind of season of his life where it was very controversial that he did what he did. So I can see that there being, at least as of the era, right, Pat, like not as of late, but like of the time, like a time period, any item that would have both his names.
Right. Roberto Duran, look at that.
He was presented that at the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. He was presented with the original.
Okay. Wow.
That was in 2019.
2019, okay.
So we got the Canelo piece is smaller than the Ali piece, but
okay.
You got a nice.
Pac-Man.
That's this Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? I mean, we got all. This one, I do like this
Pat,
one. I saw this one the last time you were on. I thought this was a really good piece right
That
here.
is Carl Grayson Taylor. Yeah.
Are you seeing this? Oh no, yeah. Sorry, I thought I was going to see it. I thought it was
Well, this
I
is
was
on your
seeing it
website,
earlier.
so
Yeah, I've actually got they both signed those. In fairness, they both
what did they?
signed the canvases. Well, that was in Vegas.
This was in Vegas right here?
Yeah, and that was for Canelo versus Golovkin.
Okay. Yeah,
You know what I love, Pat, looking at your artwork is how well you capture the expression. You know, the expression in the moment, especially when you're capturing like when they ask you, you know, to capture like a very specific you know, moment in the ring, right? It can be like a particular punch, you know, just that moment. Like you capture the expressions so well.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. I also see you do like there's UFC ones you do as well.
Yeah, recently I've just been out to the World Mixed Martial Arts Awards in December.
Okay.
Went out to Las Vegas to the Fighters Only World Mixed Martial Arts Awards, which was really good. And yeah, so
okay.
that's just another something else now.
Hey, Pat, so I have a question for you because you are such an amazing artist. Why boxing?
Well, I used to box. That's
And I'm asking for people that, you know, for people that haven't checked out your website, that haven't gone on your Instagram.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, that's where my sort of the passion came from for me was, you know, I boxed myself as an amateur back in when I was in my teens and early 20s. So it's going back some time now. Probably 27 years back. I boxed for my country, for Wales. And yeah, you know, that's where it come from. That's where the love and the passion of capturing these sort of fighters on canvas came from. And it's, you know, I paint all subjects, but I think it'll always sort of be a main focus of mine, you know.
I don't want to ask you, are there any fighters that you kind of reach a point, right, where like you don't even have to look at a picture of them, you could just paint them off the top of your head? Is there any fighters you reach that point with?
Not really. I think that, you know, to create a piece that, you know, you need good reference. You need good, whether it's photographs or whether it's video footage, you need that reference to be able to capture it realistically or even contemporary sort of, you know, abstractly. But if to look like them, I need to see something. Otherwise, I wish I could do that. I would be quite extraordinary if I could just do something out of my mind and it would look like that person, you know. I would be a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. well, you know, just again, like you do amazing work. How long does it take you to do a piece?
Well,
and what are some of the factors that?
That piece there was painted in 1995, but it was actually an oil painting, that Mike Tyson piece. And if that's what we're still on there. But it really depends. It depends what style that I'm working in. It depends. It depends on the time scale of the. That's a lovely one there. You've got that behind you, Eric.
Yeah.
I mean, something like that would take a good few weeks, you know, from start to finish. But it was the actual concept of the idea, the playing cards and coming up with, and then you're looking for the reference of, you know, this symmetrical. So you've got Duran looking the one way, Hagler's going the other way, if you know what I mean. So it balances out. And I didn't know I was going to add the names on that until sort of more or less until the end. And I added the names of each fighter. I think it just finished it off. But that was a good few weeks, because I tend to work on like different pieces in between as well, like different commissions.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of, I just enjoy it. Like I put something away, and then I work on a new piece, and it just gives me a fresh eyes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so what I want to do is, because in a little bit we're gonna raffle out the first poster here. Well, actually, let's look at that one too. By the way, look at this poster right here. Look at this, Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Oh, that's
All right.
amazing.
That's-
That is such a good piece. I just want to comment. You captured, so the Dolce & Gabbana, you know, the material, the color, you captured it so well. I mean, that to me is one of course, besides the expression, but that to me stood out because I just remember when he wore that thinking, oh my gosh, look at that material and the color, you know, and you
Right.
captured it so well.
Well, I really like this piece, actually, to be honest, because, I mean, obviously there wasn't a lot of reference out there for this, and I just really liked. It was just quite simple, you know. But he's in that corner and he's just standing on those ropes, and you can just see it, you know. I am the best, you know. Good thing.
Like the first word that comes to mind.
I've been in. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was going to say the first word that comes to mind with that picture is triumphant. That's what comes to mind when I see that.
Well, I got King Canelo on that's the title of it. Now, I've been in contact with Eddie. Eddie Reynoso followed me on Twitter. I sent him a message, and well, I'm just hoping that, you know, I'm hoping that I can. I'm hoping something will happen anyway. I'm in contact with him, so I just hope that whether we can arrange to do something to sign some canvases would be fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be.
He
that
signed
would be
some
great.
of my work in the past. Canelo. He signed when I did the piece for. I did a piece when it was Canelo versus Kovalev. He actually signed a number of canvases for me the night before the fight.
Wow.
So he signed quite a few of my pieces in the past, but that one I really love it if he could sign that, because obviously he was undisputed and super middleweight, so that would be great.
Yeah, that is some amazing work. So let's go ahead and raffle out the Ali one first here. Now, can we show that one more time?
Yeah, I gotta get that up to you again. It's a big piece. This is it's 56 centimeters by 75.
This
big,
that's a nice. This is nice.
Art print. No, this is called pre-fight pose.
So it's almost like it looks life size, like next to you. You're kind of, you know.
Yeah, it does.
Signed
It does, and you.
by the signature. I've signed it right in the corner there. I don't know if you see it.
I do see it there.
Is it backwards?
Yeah, you just go. There you go. It's right there. It's signed in gold, right?
It's backwards. No, it's Patrick Killian. Yeah, it is coming out right. Okay.
It's personally signed by Patrick Killian.
I will ship that anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. We got people from the U.S., Mexico, and U.K. I don't know about anywhere else, but I know for sure. So let's go ahead and do that first raffle right now. All right, let's go ahead and then after that we'll do some Q&A if anybody has questions in the chat, and then I have a topic about Canelo, and then we'll go ahead and raffle the Canelo one for sure. So let's go ahead and raffle this out first. And we still got the Canelo one, of course, but this is the big one. He just turned 80 years old yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
It's a shame he wasn't with us.
Yeah, man.
I actually painted live at his charity event, Celebrity Fight Night, in 2010. I was flown over to his charity event, and I did a live painting of Mike Tyson versus Muhammad Ali. And they both, Tyson signed it here in the UK, and Muhammad Ali signed it in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
The winning bidder
That's
of that
amazing.
piece
That's
got to
crazy.
be the referee. I painted a guy in there as the referee, the guy that won it. But he was pretty bad then in 2010, you know.
Yeah.
So many you got quite a few there, Eric?
Yeah, we got quite a few people here.
Yeah.
We have 56 entries. This is people that, whether it was retweeting, being members of the channel, or if they commented on the post that I put on YouTube, and also those that commented on Instagram. So it's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. There's many ways to join and get in this here. So a few of you actually have multiple entries because of that. But let's go ahead and do this. I'll go ahead and zoom this in a little bit so everybody can kind of see. All right, we're gonna go ahead and spin this. This is from the website wheelofnames.com. This is not D-Style personally picking anybody. This is random. All right. Nancy, can you count to 3?
I think I can count to 3.
Or give me a countdown.
One.
Give me a countdown.
Let's go 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
And I did it wrong. Okay, there we go. So now it's spinning, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to win
ruined
this
my Vanna
poster of
White
Muhammad
moment.
Ali? Is it going
That
to be
was my
Tony
Vanna White
Boswell for
moment.
real? Oh, Tony Boswell lost it last second. What happened? Wow. So SSC, subscriber here on YouTube, you have won the Muhammad Ali poster. Right?
Woohoo!
So congratulations to
SSC
you.
is on too.
Yeah.
They're in the chat right now.
I went off.
Man,
there.
that
I
was
just
close.
went I just
He
went
says
off.
I was close. No, you won. Like, what do you mean? You won the poster. You know?
No, I went off. I don't know where I went.
Yeah, there we go. I'll get his information, of course.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. I'll get his information, and we'll go ahead and don't put your address on YouTube, brother. Like, I'll email you, okay? But man, now I have a question from Lee Groves. Says, Pat, have you done artwork of mythical fights between boxers from different eras?
I did a couple different, like I said, I did a couple of Ali versus Tyson pieces, but they were specifically because I think Tyson was in the UK, and we did a couple of I called it Amongst Legends. If you go on my website, there's a page called Amongst Legends.
Okay.
So the winning bidder gets to be amongst the legends. So I either paint them in as a referee, or I paint so the person that buys the painting get to be in the painting. So I done a few. I haven't done a lot, but I've done a couple of those things. But yeah.
Okay. All right. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and shoot them again. I lost track of a lot of them, guys. The chat's kind of packed here. SC says, thank you, guys. Hey, you're welcome. You know, hey, you won. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I know Nancy wanted the piece, but like I wasn't going to rig it for her. You know what I mean? Like she was like, come on, just make me win it. Like, you know, like.
Gotta be fair. Gotta be fair. Gotta be fair.
And I do have the 4 keys right here, actually. The lighting kind of ruins it a little bit, but.
Yeah,
the 4 keys piece. Your website.
That's a beauty right there.
Yeah. So let's check out that Canelo one again. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nancy.
And while he does that, I was gonna say, I thought I saw one more question. Sorry, I lost it. The chat's chatting away. I lost it.
Well, let's see. Lee Groves. Pat, who is your favorite boxer to paint and why?
Do you know, I would probably say Ali or Tyson, because there's always something. I've done a lot of Ali paintings, but there's always something that I see, and I think, oh, that'd make a great. One of the recent ones was the piece. I think you went past it earlier on the site. Was the head of Ali, and there's a butterfly and a bee. And I really like, so I got Ali's face, he's sort of mouthing off, he's shouting, but above him is a butterfly and a bee. And it's just always something. You know, there's so many shots of Ali, and you're sort of inspired to sort of capture it as a painting or some sort of idea along those lines, you know. And again with Tyson, exactly the same.
Well, he was so expressive.
Yeah, there's so much expression.
Yeah, they're both. I
There's
mean,
so
just
much stuff with Tyson is the same as well. You know, there's so much stuff with it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's asking if are you a Calazaghe?
Yeah, you get very animated fighters, very expressive fights.
No.
Yeah.
Are you a Calazaghe fan?
Yeah,
I don't think he heard you.
Well, not so much because he's from Wales. I just really like Joe. He was a really great fighter, just box fighter. He could really mix it up, and he was underrated for when he sort of didn't hit the big time until he beat Jeff Lacey on his 41st fight. But then when he beat Jeff Lacey, I think that the world was his oyster. He was hit the big time. Another 5 fights after that and retired undefeated.
Now, I was going to ask you this, but the girls already asked. Is there a boxer you would like to paint, but you haven't painted yet?
Yes. I think there's 2 that you're talking about tonight. Oh, actually, I have painted Oscar Valdez, but I haven't painted Shakur Stevenson yet. So there's a couple of younger ones coming through. But yeah, I mean, there's always someone that I haven't painted. Yeah, there's always Stevenson should be good. Shakur Stevenson. I painted most of them. I've got to be honest. I've usually, there's probably loads I haven't painted as well.
Off the ropes boxing and MMA is asking, have you sold any paintings to past or current fighters?
Yeah, I sold a few to various different ones. But a lot of the times, I tell who's just commissioned me to do a piece is the UFC fighter Adriano Moraes. He's a one champion. So obviously it's but he's actually just commissioned me to do a piece. But boxing wise, a lot, some, but a lot of the times I gift some of the guys to sort of, and then something usually comes from it as well. It can do, but
right.
Yeah. So it's always nice when one of the fighters wants something.
Okay. What about Inoue? Have you pinned Inoue yet?
No, I haven't. Actually, that was one of the sort of lighter fighters. Yeah, I need the monster. Yeah.
No, we have it's not boxing. It's not painting related, but Happer wants to know who is better. Who has a better career, Calazaghe or Frotz? Let him answer. No coaching. But yeah.
Well, everybody that would have been a great fight, but personally for me, I feel that Frotz would have been tailor-made for Joe. He would have come forward fighter. Joe would have loved that. Anybody who come to him to fight, that's what Joe wanted. But Joe could fight as well. But the beauty of all these, or who do you think would win? We never know, because that's the beauty of boxing. You just don't know who would win. Right. We all say, well, I think this guy would win, this guy would win. But the reality is we don't know until it happens.
Yeah.
It never is going to happen. But
what about female boxers, Pat? Have you painted any female boxers?
Actually, not many. There's a few that I need to do. There's Ebony Bridges that I'd love to paint. I think she'd be a great one to paint. I have done a few MMA fighters.
Mm-hmm.
What's the British?
You did Misha. Was it Misha Tate?
Yeah, I did
Misha.
What's the?
I'm the wrong person to ask about MMA. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the sort of really early.
Mike,
Ronda Rousey?
Early boxing female. from the
Oh,
UK.
you're talking about Holly Holm?
No, she's not UK.
That's UFC.
Oh, yeah, what are you talking about? You're right.
I have painted them actually. I painted Holly Holm.
It'll come to us, Pat.
It'll come.
to us.
What about Katie Taylor? Have you painted Katie Taylor yet?
No, I haven't painted Katie Taylor yet either. That's another one I need to do.
So I think what you got to do for us boxing fans, that if this is an if, obviously, if Katie Taylor's Amanda Serrano becomes official,
Yep.
I think that would be a great painting.
Yes, that would be nice.
Like, is Patrick Killian? Are you willing to paint that? Like, if that fight becomes official?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
that would be a good. That would definitely be a good one. I'm
There you
still
go,
trying to think of her name from the UK, and she was a real sort of early instigator for female fighters.
Lucia Riker?
No, it wasn't. It was.
She was from Holland or something. wasn't she?
Oh, that's right. She's Dutch.
It was a British girl, and I'm just trying to think of her name because I painted her.
You got me because I can't recall.
Yeah,
What about Lee Gross? Is it Jane Couch?
Jane Couch. Thanks very much.
That's what got Lee in the bag. You know what I mean? That's why he's here. You know.
Lee Groves is the
Awesome.
encyclopedia.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, Lee.
Encyclopedia.
Yeah, Jane Couch. I painted. Did a nice piece for Jane.
Everybody in the chat was like, "Who is that? Who is that, Lee?" Like, you know. So
she was a good fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you show us the just really quick before we raffle it?
Yeah.
The Canelo poster. Like, I think people need to look at it again to see what's on the line.
I tell you what I'm going to do as well. I'm going to show you the poster, but I'm actually going to show you the original piece. Look at that piece there. That's a lovely piece there.
Roy Jones.
Oh, that I saw that one. Like, you have it on. Everyone is
to
your Instagram.
Wow.
Roy was presented with the original at the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame, but he signed a very small number, and
wow, look at that! I see the signature right there.
Yeah.
I know that signature. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's an awesome piece.
That's crazy.
That is a awesome piece. I like it.
But anyway, let's get back to Canelo. This is the original. Actually, I bought the original.
Look at that! No, y'all, we're raffling that one, y'all. Okay, it's a poster, but still, like, it's still great to look at. You know what I mean?
Oh, we need a close up. How close can you get?
that is a nice piece. I got it. Like, it looks better than a photo. Like, it's
I can actually.
And then the mouse that he did have right here from the fight is there. I mean, I like it.
Look at that.
Look at that piece.
So what we got obviously it's a smaller version, but we have it's hard to get there where I'm going with. And we have King Canelo. I signed it on the bottom.
That is some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So there, for this, as with the previous, where there's going to be a winner and there's going to be losers. So Pat, for people that want to get their hands on one of these, where do they go?
So I just hit the wheel, guys. I won. So it's gonna be to me. I wasn't sharing it when I did it.
There's my website, which is Killian Art, KILLIAN art.com.
Yeah.
There's eBay. There's a store on eBay, which usually you can get some good deals. But my website is the main thing. But I think there's a couple of other outlets that sell my stuff, but this is quite a new piece. The actual Canelo one. The Ali one has been around for a while. The art print, I think that's on the site. I'm sure it's. I think
I did share your Instagram with everyone on the chat. So
thanks.
I believe the link is on there, everybody.
I'll also put the link to the and he's also on YouTube. I like the YouTube because, like, I like those videos where, like, you see the progress. Because it's to me, that's the phenomenal part about canvas painting, is seeing like watching you do it and like, okay, where's
See
he
it
going
come
with this?
together,
And it's
yeah.
like, oh wow,
Thanks.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to, TikTok and different things and little videos. I think they're good to, it's just good just to, to just promote as well. I think it promotes the work, the time lapses. And I think that there's, I like the one I did for, of the Canelo piece as well, the time lapse for the Canelo piece. And I tend to put it on my Instagram as well. There's lots of various different ones on there.
Yes. So before we raffle it, there's a big story out. Apparently, supposedly, for all that was tweeted, I think was it Coppinger, but somebody put out. Okay, one of the big media dudes put out that Canelo is in negotiations for a fight, and the boxing purist will not be happy with the selection of the opponent. That's what was said, right? Now, first of all, boxing purists are never happy. So that's not. I don't even know what that means. Okay,
It was Chava.
It was Chava. Okay,
Chava Rodriguez from ESPN. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you know what? You're right. They were quoting him. Yeah, you're right.
And then the next day he did say, but boxing purists will also be happy with it.
How are we going to be disappointed but not happy?
Why do they play with our emotions like that?
What does that mean?
Appreciate
I think it might be maybe he is going to fight Bivol, because I think a lot of people wouldn't like the Bivol fight because they might think it'll be boring. But purists, because he's the best pure boxer at 175. Who was
it again? Oh, the
Bivol?
Oh,
maybe.
What about Bivol? Have you painted Bivol yet?
No.
Well, you might if he fights Canelo, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So, what if? I just want to ask all of you. What if Canelo fights like a UFC fighter like Masvidal, or a YouTuber like Jake Paul? What would your reaction to that be? Right, Nancy, to start with you, what would your reaction to that be?
Wow, I don't know. I might end up. I don't know. I'm gonna be dramatic. I might leave the sport like I left the NBA when Shaq went to the Suns.
Whoa, that's dramatic.
Yeah, I know it's dramatic. I would be disappointed. I would really be disappointed. Because he's the one person that I am hopeful, will stay away from the YouTubers and whatever, we're calling these fighters. Yeah, I would be disappointed. I would be disappointed because, I give Mayweather so much grief, and I talk about just how disappointing it is that he doesn't give the opportunity to the boxers who really have it in their blood, and have been fighting for years and are quick to give it to, just someone who's got a quick 15 minutes of fame type deal. No, I'd be disappointed. Let's just leave it at that.
Hey, Mike, talk to us. What would your reaction be if it's one of those dudes?
Personally, get your money. I mean, if it's for Canelo, get your money. The sport doesn't love you at the end of the day. There's no insurance plan in boxing. There's no life insurance. You could die in that ring. So get your money. Every fighter I've always told them that I've interviewed or that I talked to, get your money. I don't care who you fight, how you do it, get paid. I would be disappointed if it's like Jake Paul or something. If it's Masvidal, knock his ass out. Like,
Usman?
I like Usman. I'm not even gonna lie, but he would knock him out. But I mean, my thing is when it comes to MMA fighters, and I actually do a lot of MMA work where I cover the sport, and I've told them too, like there's levels to it. I understand and I respect MMA. I've told this story before. I tried it one time. I got kicked in the face so hard that I never wanted to do it again. I was more mad that I didn't get knocked out from that kick because it hurt like shit. But
it would have been better to get knocked out.
Yeah, I would have rather been asleep because I was so mad that I could feel the freaking pain right here from the kick. So, but there's levels to it. MMA has all these different sport and styles and techniques that you put into it that they can't focus 100% on boxing. So when they go into a boxing ring, they could think, oh, I have hands. You may have hands in MMA, but you're not going to have hands in boxing the same way as I might be able to pick somebody up out here on the street and slam them to the floor. But I guarantee you, if I try it with the UFC fighter, I'm probably getting choked out within 5 seconds. There's levels to every type of skill.
Man.
So I wouldn't like it. But I mean, if he's trying to get paid, then hey, get paid. Do what you got to do. Because at the end of the day, the next fight could be your last fight, and you don't know where the next check's coming in from. So I wouldn't like it, though. I'll be honest. As Nancy said, we give Mayweather grief. We give all these other people grief about these fights. We would have to be consistent. I wouldn't like it at all.
I mean, what else can we say? He's a Raiders fan, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? What are we going to do?
Hey.
Go Buffalo! No. But in all seriousness, I just want to ask you this. So, you're right. People can die in the ring. Like you don't think Canelo would possibly kill Jake Paul?
Hey, you know what?
I'm just saying.
I think Canelo possibly kill anyone. I mean,
he could, but that's also the risk that you take going into that ring.
True. Okay.
So I mean,
I don't play boxing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say, hey, go and do it. But
oh man,
Jake Paul knows what he's doing. But at that point, that's when I would have that question of, it's not going to be a real fight. It's got to be an exhibition. Because if it's a real fight, Canelo might kill him. Canelo might kill Usman. Canelo might kill Masvidal. He might kill any of them. But
oh man,
hey, like I said, if it's doing it to get paid. But let's be honest about it. Come back and then you better fight Benavidez or Charlo in that next fight.
Yeah, and I think that's Mike. I'm with you on that. I think that's what if something like that were to happen, which I don't even want to speak it into the universe right now, but if it were to happen. Then you better give us what we've been asking for. I think that's what's frustrating is that you have all these fighters talking, proposing, these YouTuber fights when there's so many freaking fights that need to be made. Us as fans, like the paying fans, we've been asking for these fights, right? And now they're just playing with our money, playing with our emotions. And I think, I for one, I know we'll start to get, if not already, just sick of it. They need to give us what we want,
It's kind of like that song, right? Like pero tú que me has dado, right? Like that's how boxing gives us like golpes en el corazón. That's it,
Yeah, but I'll be honest though. Give me $3 million and I'll fight any one of those YouTubers right now. And I guarantee you, I'd knock the majority of them out. Give me 6 months, I'll get in shape and I'll knock Jake Paul's ass out.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't they do that? Why don't the YouTubers do that though? Go after
they don't want this smoke, Nancy. That's why they don't want this smoke.
After,
hey, but
let the YouTubers go after them.
I'll be honest. I think Jake Paul could fight to a certain extent. Honestly, I think he can fight to an extent.
He's a good fighter.
I'll be honest. He's
actually very serious.
Yeah,
it's about his training. I've actually watched him train.
Yeah, I spoke with Shane Mosley about him when he trained him.
Yeah. When he fought Ben Askren, I actually won the bet. I said first round, and I won a little bit of money. Not a lot, but I won a bit. Because Ben Askren can't throw hands anyway.
He can't throw a punch for his life.
But I also won the last bet as well. About knockout that he would knock out.
Can I ask you this, Patrick? So I know you said you firsthand. So you watch him train like firsthand.
Well, on YouTube,
Okay.
He's got a big team around him. Running, big. Because what you got to remember, he's a 20. Was he 23? He's a 23-year-old kid who, when I was, there's no fear there, and to be doing what he's doing, it ain't just for the money, because he doesn't need the money. And, you either got to want to box and you either want to do it, to look good and to actually, I understand all the, the calling out the big names, because that's going to create the numbers and the money.
Yeah.
And like Mike said, it good luck to any of them just to get the money. And that's what's appealing about it. what's appealing is that he's a YouTuber. He's come from the YouTube background, but
Right.
you know, he now wants to have a go as a fighter. But he is taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Like he's training like he's the real deal. He's got a
Yeah.
team
He is,
and he's got the money.
honestly,
for it,
and I put a thing up some time back on Instagram about, you know, because you can watch somebody, you can see the way they throw the way they throw shots. You know, the 1-2s, right hands, 1-2 left hook. You can see
Right.
if it's an amateur or a bloody, you know, if they're any good. He can certainly bang. He can definitely bang.
Right.
But yeah, it's all a bit of fun in there. It's all a bit of.
Well, I want to ask
I'll
you this
give
because
him
I know
this.
you're familiar a little bit with UFC and the YouTubers, obviously. So, what would your reaction be? Like if it's announced tomorrow or next week, hey, Canelo's going to be fighting Jake Paul or Logan Paul or a Masvidal or a Usman, what would your reaction be?
I honestly, I don't really care because it's all about the money. And like Mike said, you know, it's a very short span. And I think, and who cares? Well, what happens? Everybody will moan about it for 2 minutes.
I care.
And then once it's done, once the fight is done, everybody forgets about it anyway. So it's like, you know, and make that amount of money to fight someone.
Well, can I ask you and make a question? Wouldn't you rather him fight Charlo or?
Of course.
Hell yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
No questions asked. I'd rather have him fight Charlo or Benavidez.
Yeah.
That's what we need to be
cool.
looking into the
I just wanted
atmosphere
to
that
clear
could
that up.
happen, you know?
You know,
I'll give, you know what, and to be fair,
sorry.
no. I was just going to say, to be fair, you know, talking about Jake Paul, because from day one, I just, you know, cannot stand him. But he went on to say something that I was like, gosh, darn it. Why did you have to say something I agree with? You know, when he started talking about, number one, just giving, you know, female boxers more pay and platform. And then number two, when he started talking about the actual benefits and speaking to the UFC actually being run more like a corporation where there's, you know, benefits and a retirement plan and, you know, in all of that, I'm like, okay, you know, use your platform for good, you know, for things like this, you know, I'm okay with that. But that's probably just one or two things that I've agreed with him on.
All right, guys, we're getting ready. If you have any last questions, go ahead and throw them out for Patrick here. But we're gonna go ahead and do the raffle for the Canelo poster. Okay, that's as you know, and as you can see, it has a signature in the top bottom. It'll be the bottom right?
Yeah.
And there it is. There you go. It's signed by the artist himself. You know, this would look beautiful, like on an office, and I'm just telling you.
Framed up, it would look very nice.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's go ahead and get this raffle out. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this right now. We're about to go ahead and if I can bring it up. Okay, here we go. Hey, by the way, CCB, what was his name?
SSC.
Yeah, he's still on there. He could win twice. You never know. You know, oh, there he is.
Dang, imagine if he did.
Look at this. He won this by look at this.
Oh,
Margin.
He won it by that's like nothing. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So let's go ahead and do this, guys. Nancy, give me a countdown from 10. Starting from 10. Give me a countdown.
Okay, don't ruin my Vanna White moment though. You kind of ruined it the last time. Okay, so here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So we are spinning this thing. I don't know who's gonna win. Is it? Oh, no way! Are you serious right now? What? Yeah.
No way.
No, well, this is not possible. We're gonna go again. I think. And he won again. Back to back, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
And we
You've
are
been on
all
twice.
witness
Come on,
to the
do another one.
fairness of.
I'll send another one. Do another
You'll
one.
send another one?
Look at that.
Yeah, go
Did y'all hear that?
Wow.
Pat,
Okay,
that is
another
awesome.
Canelo, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That is
All right.
wow.
But we got to remove CC. SSC.
If it
SSC,
lands
if you
again,
win
we'll-
again, we're going to have to roll again, though. Okay, I'm just going to put that out there, okay? Why is it not here? Where am I? Okay. You guys see it on the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay, Nancy,
Yeah.
give me just from 3. Go ahead and give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
This is another opportunity for everybody to say, I've only had one more shot, one more opportunity. What would I do? Is it Do Me? Or is it A-Rod? Oh, Do Me from Instagram has won it, ladies and gentlemen. So shout out to him. All right. He has won
Nearly landed
the
on
Canelo.
SSC again.
What is that?
Nearly landed on it again.
Yeah.
he did.
A-Rod was close for
Look
A-Rod.
at
but he
that.
almost
You
got
know
there.
what? Here's what I need you to do, SEC. I need you to, after this show, I need you to go get you a couple scratch-off tickets. Get at least maybe 2-3 lottery tickets. Okay. The
Bro, go
person
buy the
you've
lottery
been
ticket like
wanting to
right
ask
now.
out, go do it now.
Yeah, go and get it.
They said SSC
Everything.
is D Styles' backup YouTube page.
Come on. No. But and he almost won again, by the way. But I told him ahead of time, no, if you win again, I'm gonna roll. Okay, so there we go. Hey, Patrick, we want to thank you for coming on. This is much appreciated.
I know.
Thanks, Nancy. Thanks, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah, man, he's out in the UK, guy. It's already like 3 a.m. over there. I want to
Yeah.
let him go back to sleep. You know what I mean? So
Thank you so
and
much.
everybody where they could,
Now.
once again, where they could find you, where they could find your artwork and all that good stuff before you go, brother.
Yeah, KillianArt.com. Instagram is Killian_art. And just type my name in and I should come up somewhere on Google or whatever.
There you go.
Appreciate
Absolutely,
it.
man.
Thanks a lot. Send me the addresses. I'll get these out.
Most definitely, man.
Thank you. And
Most
we're going to make
definitely.
sure
We
to
appreciate it.
share your handle, your site with everybody and everybody on the chat. Please do the same. I mean, this is amazing artwork of
Thanks a
the
lot,
sport
guys.
we love. So thank you, Pat.
Thanks very much.
Have a good one, brother.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, all.
There we go, guys. The one and the only Pat Killian gave us his
So
time
awesome.
and,
You know,
and artwork and everything. I mean, great guy, by the way. Great artwork.
You know, he has a piece that he did. It looks like he did it just a couple years ago on good old Texas boy, Buddy Holly. You know, I saw that one. That one was pretty cool. But yeah, that was such a treat.
That was cool.
Great stuff. Great stuff. I can't complain. SC is like, thank you for the great art pieces, sir. Well, I mean, what else can you say, right?
Right.
He almost won 3 straight times. Like, this dude ain't going to win again.
No.
Right?
You need to make sure to take a picture when you get it, SEC. Wait, SSC.
Yeah.
Still thinking work. Yeah, SSC.
People are already spreading rumors. Oh, that's the style. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
they are. You need to take a picture with it and share and, you know, maybe tag Pat on it so he can get that visibility on there too.
Right.
And by the way, he won the first one with his membership selection, the other one with the post he put. So you always want to put those multiple selections. It gives you more opportunities to win. He won with both of those. So shout out to him. You know what I mean? Nando Llamas, I appreciate the super chat, brother. He says, fake like the moon landing, he said. Okay, and Remy earlier sent us a super chat as well. Shout out to you, brother. He said hello to me, myself, and Nancy. Shout out to you, brother. Man, oh man, oh man. Let me just say this. Canelo better not fight Jake Paul.
No.
Yeah. And I don't think he will, and I'll tell you why he won't. I'll tell you guys, I already know that he's not going to fight a UFC fighter or a YouTuber. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat my crow, but I'll tell you why. Because that's who the zone wanted him to fight.
Yeah.
And he said no. Okay?
Last year, they wanted him to fight Masvidal.
Yeah, they wanted him to fight Masvidal, and they said, we'll pay you your guarantee if you fight Masvidal. And he's like, nah, I want to fight like a champion. Or like, no. we're not going to pay you that for Billy Joe, or we'll pay you if it's Masvidal or Conor McGregor or somebody like that. And he said no. And every time someone's brought it up to Canelo's attention, what did he say? A reporter asked him, hey, so Masvidal wants to fight you. He immediately dismissed it and said, payday, and then he just moved on. So I don't think that's who he's going to fight, to be honest with you. And I don't think there's any indication to say otherwise, to be honest with you. Until I see otherwise, I don't see a reason to believe that Canelo will fight any of those people. Plus, if he does that, he's going to make Nancy angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to make Nancy cancel you if you fight Jake Paul.
Everybody knows it takes so much to get me upset. This would get me upset.
You're going to be like with a pitchfork, like outside the building, you know, like say no to the fight, you know, like.
Yes, that would be me. That would be me.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you guys hit my like button, by the way. You're tuning into the 89th edition of Hispanics Causing Panic. You can all listen here on YouTube, obviously, but as Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, the whole nine. Let's go ahead and proceed here. Hey, Lion Ryan is back, right? He's out here saying that he's going to be fighting April 2nd. So, like, you know, remember the whole thing where he's like, oh, what's up, Isaac Cruz? I want a piece of you, right? And I said, what do you think about him coming back? And did you believe he ever had intentions of fighting Isaac Cruz?
No, you know, so many things about Ryan. I think that he needs to just shush, right? Like who's his PR, you know, who's managing the kids, you know, media accounts, you know, he needs to just shush. I absolutely loved Gamboso's tweets over the weekend. If y'all didn't catch him, go look him up on Twitter, because he said it like it is and he put everybody in their place. And he told them, he says, I fight my fights in the ring, not on Twitter. Right. So Ryan has a lot to prove now. We're going on a year since he last fought. You know, the whole Isaac Cruz situation. There was some quote, or someone quoted the father saying that they had gotten something. But then, you know, you hear that it's just maybe Oscar trying to kind of show face that he's doing everything within his power, you know, to make something happen for Ryan. You know, who knows? The thing is that he shouldn't even be in this position. He shouldn't have put himself in this position, right? Where they're having to extend a contract, not to take away from Isaac Cruz, because I like him and I think that he did a great job, but to be extending a contract to Isaac Cruz versus, you know, the other fighters that we want him to be against. This is where he put himself at. So who's he going to fight next now? I don't know, but I do know y'all need to tune in tomorrow, Women Crushing It Wednesday, because Christine shared we have a special guest that might have some insight on that. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, it ain't me, so I have no idea what it is.
And it's not D-Style, that's what I heard.
Yeah. So, Mike, you're looking forward to the comeback of Ryan Garcia. How do you feel about this whole Ryan Garcia thing?
I like the kid as a fighter. In that last fight that he had over a year ago now, he did show me a lot more than I thought he would. And I thought he had the year, you know, laid out for him. Oscar and Golden Boy had everything planned for him. I can say that I've been told things that there was legit deals set 2 or 3 different times last year for him that were already set to go before, you know, he had his problems that caused him to pull out. The JoJo fight. I'll be honest with you, man. JoJo told me some things that I would never repeat after that fight fell through. Shout out to JoJo Diaz, good friend. But yeah, I mean, I like the guy. I will say this though, with the fight with Isaac Cruz, from what I was told, they offered the contract to Cruz, and Cruz's people responded with, "Let's do it on pay-per-view." No disrespect to Cruz, but he's not a pay-per-view fighter. Yeah, you know, maybe Ryan could probably pull some pay-per-view views, but neither one of them are a pay-per-view fighter. Fighting Tank Davis doesn't make you a superstar, especially if you don't get the decision. But that was the response that Garcia and them got. So once they got that response, it was like, all right, let's go somewhere else. Who is he going to fight? I don't know. I've heard Neno Rodriguez. I mean, I guess that's a decent SoCal fight, but Neno I mean, most of us remember him being knocked out as opposed to anything else. I heard a joke. I know it's a joke, and I hope it's not true about Chimpa. Please tell me that's a joke because I never want to see that again. But whoever he fights, I mean, I hope it's just someone decent. And I'm gonna be honest, he doesn't deserve a fight with the champion right now, though, or a top 5 guy. He doesn't deserve a fight with Tank, Devin, Kambosos, JoJo. Yep. He don't deserve a fight with none of those guys.
That's not what Mauricio Suleiman said.
Mauricio Suleiman does what he wants to do, but honestly, look at the guys that have fought. Look at the guys that have fought. If they told me JoJo's going to fight Tank or Kambosos maybe, or somebody like that, give me it. JoJo went out of his way and took 2 fights last year that he didn't have to take.
Right. That's right.
Ryan chilled all year, issues of whatnot, but don't tell me he deserves a fight with Tank Davis or with Kambosos or even Devin Haney. He doesn't deserve a fight with any champion right now. He has to earn that spot. He needs to fight 2 people, maybe a contender and somebody else, and then go ahead. But right now, he doesn't deserve a title fight. Simple as that.
You know what, Mike? And I agree with you. And I think that's what also upsets me is that he's still thinking he's at that level where he can ask and demand it and deserves it. So that's a problem. Someone needs to. I almost feel like that's an indicator of some yes men, hanging around. And that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. We know what that can do to a fighter when you're surrounded by nothing but yes men. So that's a problem. And I definitely think he needs to humble down, realize because it was damage, and nothing. I know it's a sensitive topic, nothing with, what was he really sick? Was he not sick? Was he this? Whatever the case was, it caused damage, right? It did. And he has to now own that. And now he's at the level where contracts are being extended to an Isaac Cruz, right? And on the Isaac Cruz comment, you're right. He's not there. I personally am a fan of, ask for what you want, right? That's what they wanted. But if there was no wiggle room whatsoever, then, that's a problem. I think it's good that you ask for what you want, but you definitely want to be flexible. And if that was the case, it sounds like there weren't.
I'm going to sound like an asshole here, but it is what it is, okay? Like, Ryan Garcia, this is the way I see it, okay? I always find myself saying these words, okay? I always find myself saying this sentence. Pues no que estaba depressed, right? I always end up saying those things because he talks so much shit to these fighters, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought you were depressed, dude. I thought you went on a getaway with your girlfriend somewhere to go like clear your head and work this whole like depressed thing out. You know what I mean? Like, why are you talking to Tank Davis that you're gonna knock the dude out when everybody knows you're not gonna fight him, dude? Everybody knows, like why you like, and everyone wants me to have empathy for the guy. And I'll give you an example. Like when it came to the gymnast in the Olympics, I believed her. Okay, I looked at her and said, "Yeah, I believe it. I do." With Ryan, I just don't believe him. Like, I'm sorry, I don't believe the guy because of his pattern of behavior, and I can't have that much sympathy for the guy. Like you're telling Cruz, "Oh, we offer Cruz so much money, and he didn't take it," and right. Well, the money's only good if you actually show up to fight the guy.
If you fight, yeah. And that was the other thing. Cruz said that in case he pulled out, he still wanted some of that money at least.
Why shouldn't he ask for that?
Yeah,
no, that makes a lot of sense. Fair. That makes sense. I agree with him on that.
And good for him.
Because Linares is just swimming in the money that he made in the Ryan Garcia fight, right? He's just doing backstrokes on the money.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's got to put a deposit up, bro, because you're a liability now. Fair, unfair, even if it's true that you're going through depression, like even then, like you're a liability, bro. Like you can't like what? So like at the last minute, you can say, you know what? Estoy depressed. Ya me voy a pasearme con mi novia a México porque ya estoy depressed. Like no, you can't just like you can't expect dudes, right, to just bow to your will like that. or bend to your will. You just can't do that. Cruz has other options, bro. Cruz can get a rematch with Tank. Cruz could be like, yo, I thought I beat this dude. I want to run it back. You know, and that's money right there.
Mhm.
Cruz can say, like, look, shit, I think I could be in the mix for Cambosos. He really can, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So I think Ryan, like you made your bid, and I know that Mauricio Sulaiman came out. Shout out to Mauricio Sulaiman, by the way. Okay. Shout out to him. Cause all these division. Ryan Garcia show that he is an ambassador to the sport, being brave enough to come out and show that you can be going through mental illness, but still be a champion, which is why we did not strip him. Yeah, okay, good job. Okay. I'm sorry. Mental illness is real, guys. I'm not trying to minimize it at all. Believe me. Okay. But just like a real injury, if a fighter has a leg injury, okay, if his ACL gives out and he's injured and needs to be out of action, right? They get stripped because the sport moves on. If your mental illness is so bad that you're not able to box in the ring because of it, then that is an injury, and you should not still keep the fucking interim belt. Am I wrong, Nancy? Am I wrong? I know you want to be the compassionate, understanding one.
I
But am I
am,
wrong?
but when I think of, the fighters that had the struggles, you think of like Tapia, you think of, some of these fighters that, they had that struggle. It was, whether it was addiction or mental health issues. If you really go back and think about it, a lot of these fighters in an era where it wasn't much talked about, how would it play out in that era to say that and not be stripped, and you still expect to come out and get the best fights. I just think we're in a different season of the sport, where something like this can occur and happen, and the fighter still comes out with that confidence that they're still where they left off. That's crazy to me. I referenced Camboso's tweet earlier, and I just want to read it to you all because, again, if you haven't had a chance, he tweeted a couple, but this is what he said, and this was like 2 days ago. He says, "I'm not here for Twitter fights like most of these cats. I'm here for real fights. To be honest, you got to give respect to myself, to Theo and Loma. Out of the one emperor, 4 kings, and Matrix, we 3 stepped up and fought while the others fought on Twitter. Just stating facts. Now you tell me who ducks."
Man.
Boom! Right?
I'll show you how great I am.
But let's be honest, though. With that, when he says about who ducks, let's be real. Who moved away from Devin Haney? Loma had his opportunity with Haney, and he didn't take it. He got his little franchise title. He got his franchise title, and that's how Haney ended up with the WBC title. Loma did that to not fight Haney.
But franchise was to the betterment of the sport and to the advancement of the sport.
And now Cambosis, if he wants to be real undisputed, fight Haney. Don't talk about Tank or any of these other guys. Just fight Haney.
And he's trying, right? Like, apparently is he not? Like, what is because
it's debatable if it's not, though, right?
Yeah, he's saying things. Haney is saying things. Who knows? But Haney, if Haney is lying, he's putting himself in a bad spot by what he's saying. He's saying, "Okay, we'll do this. We'll go over there. We'll do everything you say. Just give me the contract and let's go." And I honestly believe Haney will do it because Haney wants to prove himself. And Cambosis, it's up to him now. If it's honest, do something that shows that you made a contract offer at least.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see how the truth plays out, right, Mike? Because Devin Haney this was over the weekend. He did tweet at Cambosos and he said, "Yo, we making this fight happen or what? I'm agreeing to all your terms, whether," he misspelled weather, and that's bothering me so bad. "Whether it's the vaccine or the travel, it's starting to look like someone's ducking." But then Camboso says, "I love how you manipulate and lie to your fans. Talk a big game,
Is he
but
not
show
vaccinated?
no action." I don't know.
Is Haney not vaccinated?
Well, I think it's because in Australia, I think you need all 3 now, and then you have to take the 2-week quarantine and all these other things before you're actually able to do anything else. So, let's say they do the fight in April, Haney will need to start training now and then leave at some point in March to even have like a week or so to train in Australia to get ready for the fight. So it's, maybe lower his training camp down.
Could be.
So that's
Could
why
be.
he's saying he's agreeing to everything, but tell me now, let's get this done now. So let's get this, we could get all set up.
I'll say this about Camboza's. When he was in the middle of his promotional, and they had a long time because Schroeder kept fucking everything. Like he came out and he told Haney several times
that he would fight him, right?
After I'm done with him, I'm gonna fight you. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Like I can't undo what he said.
Exactly.
Right? He said I will fight
after the fight. He told him after he won.
But now, then again, I gotta be honest. I don't know what's been offered, what's been declined, what's been that I cannot talk to because I don't have that in front of me, right? But I mean, he did go on a, who am I gonna he went
he went on a tour.
He thinks he's LeBron James, like he's gonna make a decision, like you know what I mean, like you know what I mean. Camboza's gonna have the decision, you know what I mean? Is it Haynes, ladies and gentlemen? Is it Tank? Is it Loma? Is it Cruz? Is it Ryan Garcia? I mean, well, I guess we'll see. He did kind of do that. He made it into like this. I'm gonna make this big decision on who I'm gonna fight, right? And look, I don't have a problem with him fighting Loma. I don't have a problem with him. First of all, I don't think he beats Loma. That's number one. But I don't have a problem with him fighting Loma. But you did tell him, you gave Haney your word you're going to fight him.
Yeah. Well, remember when Haney ran into Teofimo in Fresno, and they had their back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Haney said, I'll see you after the fight or something. And Cambosis tweeted out, you handle your business and I'll handle mine, and then we'll see each other in the ring for the real undisputed.
Yeah.
And I could say that because I was there when Haney and Teofimo got into it. I was right there. I was there a few seconds later when Eddie seen the phone and he seen what Cambosis had tweeted and, started telling people. So I seen Haney laugh and was like, okay, if he's really with it, then yeah, we'll see him. So I don't have nothing against Cambosis, but as you said all these things. You got to back it up now. I can't say I'd fight Jake Paul, and then if it came down to it, I'm like, you know what? Nah, I was saying that on YouTube.
Right. I think the good thing out of this one is that both of them.
What's up, Nancy? What do you want to say? I know you're like.
No. I was just gonna say, with both of them, I'll tell you the one good thing that I'm hearing out of all of this, okay, is that they both want to make it happen. It doesn't sound like when we think of the excuses, that we hear here, and this is like they really want it to happen. And going back to Mike's reference, of the earlier fights a couple months ago, they've been talking about this happening, and both camps want this to happen, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's a really, really good sign. Like this hasn't lost momentum as we see so many of the let's make it happen situations. No, this has not lost momentum since that tweet that Mike mentioned with Cambosos and Haney. So I think that's a good thing. I think that we will see it. That's interesting though, Mike, thinking about everything that it entails to actually have the fight in Australia. I really hadn't thought through that and how all the restrictions and, the difference in how each country is handling the pandemic can really affect it. So if we're going to make this happen over there, this needed to start like yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to really quick to Boxing Waves. It's hard to tell if what Haney and Cambosos are saying publicly is real because of the reports and tweets about negotiations can be there to build the fight. They may have already agreed to fight. Those are some good points. Shout out to Boxing Wave, by the way. Great boxing channel here on YouTube. Great content. Make sure you guys subscribe to Boxing Wave. Hope to have him on the roundtable in about 2 to 3 weeks. So shout out to him and his content. But go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm just saying how you were talking about Australia and how they're dealing with it. We actually spoke with someone on Friday. Nancy, the chat that we have.
Yes.
We were talking to her name is Lulu. She's the WBC atomweight champion from Australia. she actually mentioned to us that since this whole pandemic thing has really gotten hard over the last year and a half, 2 years, she's quarantined 8 times in Australia.
Damn.
Yeah, so
Wow.
she was supposed to fight coming up, and she had to quarantine and is not going to be able to fight now. So that's how real they're taking it over there. 8 times.
I mean,
Imagine that. Yeah.
And that's like 2 weeks. How many weeks at a time each time?
That's now it's 2 weeks.
Weeks out of the
it might have been
52
more.
weeks in a year.
It could have been more before, but right now it's at 2 weeks.
So then, not to get too off topic, but just thinking about, we're hearing a lot about having fights, elsewhere, right? Like, we're not just hearing Australia, we're hearing Dubai, we're hearing Saudi Arabia. That'll be something to pay closer attention to, Mike, now that you've brought it up, is, as we hear the rumors, we can easily just go back into, okay, well, when would this need to happen for it to happen, given the restrictions, right?
Yep. And I think the amount of fans that could be out there, because that's why Koza Sue's brother or son, Tim Sue, is actually going to fight in the U.S. coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, speaking of Tim Sue, man, that kid's the truth. I'm telling you guys right now, that kid's the truth. That kid's no joke. He fights like his pops, and his pops was a beast. So I was letting you guys know, keep an eye on Tim Sue. I want to go ahead and proceed here. Hey, Nancy, do you know, we're talking about, it's funny, we were talking about him a couple of weeks ago, right? He was in the back of a milk carton just like 2 weeks ago. And now he's like on a fight live on Showtime. I believe it's Showtime, or it might be FS1. I could be wrong. Anybody can correct me on that.
Showtime.
But Showtime. So Gary Russell Jr. is back. He's in a fight. He's back. He's alive. He's alive. Everybody's like, what, did he die? Is he up for the Hall of Fame or what? Like, go ahead.
Wow. I know. I saw that and I'm like, mira nomás. Talk about rust. I mean, that's the first thing I thought about going into this fight is there's going to be some rust that he's definitely going to have to shake off. You can't let this happen. You can't stay inactive like this. You just got to keep on getting in the ring, and we're just seeing this too much. I get it, COVID, and I get that we had the 1 year that just threw everybody off. But other fighters have proven that it's doable, so that's really no excuse now. So I don't want to take it back to Ryan, but now we have Ryan going up on a year now, right? At what point is he now going to be considered inactive, just like Gary Russell was? But yeah, I saw that and I was like, wow, they found the guy. They found the guy.
Yep. What do you think of Magsayo? I mean, do you think he has a legitimate shot, especially given the rust, right? Does he have a legitimate shot to win this fight against Gary Russell?
I would still say no. So I just talked all this trash, right, about him being rusty and out of the ring. But I would say no. I think I would still put Gary winning this, maybe by split decision. This other guy, what worries me about him is I think we've just seen him get hit really bad, and just far too much.
Dropped by Ceja, yeah.
For my liking in the last couple fights. And so even against a rusty Gary Russell, I think he'd hang in there, but I'd still give it to Gary.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Mike?
For this longer layoff, I'll be honest with Gary. I could give him a little bit of a pass because there was some personal things that happened. I'm not sure if everybody knows.
No, do tell.
I want to say one of his brothers passed away.
Oh, no.
And I believe his father or somebody in his family had to get their leg amputated as well. So he's had a lot of out of the ring issues over the last, I want to say
18 months?
Year at least. So yeah, I mean, we give him, slack, but here I'll let that one go a bit because, that's some tough stuff to deal with. And I want to say the amputee one is more recent. It happened when he began camp, I believe. So that's really hard to have on your mind. And
it is. Well, and then that also though, Mike, now knowing that, because I didn't know that, now knowing that, we all know we always talk about the mental aspect, you know, and how important that is going into a fight. So we got to weigh that in now.
Yeah. So with that being said, though, and I know some people will probably give me some heat for this one, but over the last, I'm going to say 15 years, Gary Russell might be one of the most talented fighters that's ever been in the last 15 years. The issue is we don't see him enough. He has speed. He has power. He's very skilled. He has great defense, but we don't see him enough. He's been on a 1 year, one fight a year consistently. But if there's one fighter I think could deal with that rust of being outside of the ring, it's going to be Gary Russell, because he fights once a year and yet never looks like he's missing too much. The only time I ever seen him where he looked like he had rust was against Jojo Diaz, where I believe Jojo probably won 4 rounds against him, but he still comfortably won the fight. In this one, I could see him maybe knocking out his name just slipped my mind. Mayoso. I could see him maybe knocking him out because, as you guys pointed out, he gets hit a lot. I mean, Ceja, let's be real, Ceja is not the young kid that he was years ago, and he was touching him up when they fought. Now, Mark can hit hard, but can he touch Gary? And Gary's got the speed to keep you off, and if he catches you, as we all know in boxing, it's not always the punch that's the strongest, it's the one that you don't see, and Gary could catch you with 3 or 4 punches, and it's maybe the second or third one that puts you down. So I think Gary's going to win. I'll agree, Nancy, in the decision, but I think it'll be unanimous. I don't think it's a split. I don't think Mark will be in the fight for that long. I think Gary, by the 5th or 6th round, pulls away.
I would like nothing that's being said about Gary Russell is wrong. The problem is a 2-year layoff. You're going to be rusty. And if you're fighting an active guy that is high in volume, like Magsayo, that could be a problem. Like even if you're a superior boxer and all that, because I think it's going to have a lot of problems with him early. I really do. And I think he'll kind of find his way. He'll make the proper adjustments and start to outbox him. But I can still see the judges giving it to the guy with the activity, So I'm actually going to pick the upset in this fight. I do think Mark Magsayo is going to pull it off. Maybe in controversial fashion, but I think he's going to pull it off. The rust is too much for me. And even before this practically 2-year layoff, the guy was fighting once a year. He's just not active enough to me. And at some point, if you're not active enough,
it's going to catch up to you.
It's going to catch up to you. You got to adjust your reflexes. You got to adjust to a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the upset. I'm officially picking Magsayo to win by decision, a close decision. I think the last few rounds, you'll see the difference between the two, but it's going to be a little too late. That's kind of how I see the fight going, in my opinion. Right. So that's how I see it, So now I want to talk about the following here. Let's go to do the good, the bad, and the ugly of the boxing weekend. Nancy, what is your good? Let's start with the good news. You know what I mean? What is your good of the weekend?
I really, really liked that Eddie came out and confirmed that there are no talks about Canelo and Charlo. To me, and here's why I say good, because again, it just the talk on the Twitter and that this is happening and this fight and people get all crazy and hyped up, and it's para nada, they weren't even talking, So I thought that was good for him that he just put the rumors to rest, and he's like, puro chisme, we haven't been talking. I liked that. So to me, that was the good. I feel like we need more of that.
Okay. Mike, what was the good of this weekend, brother?
I know we're going to talk about it in a minute, but I loved hearing that we're going to see Shakur and Oscar. I love that. That's a fight that I've wanted to see for a while. I've probably gone back and forth on it over the last year and a half on who would win, but I'm a little more to one side now. But yeah, I'm just happy that fight was announced because at the time there was nothing that I had heard about that would make me think that was going to happen, even when people went to boxing.
Absolutely. Here's my good of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a hard-working man.
And let me just tell you guys right now. I mean, like, I don't care what anybody says. Joe Smith is fun to watch. Like, he just is. Okay? And I don't care what anybody says. This is an example of a fighter that has maximized his abilities.
Yeah.
And I love watching that. Like, do I think he could be better Beef? No. Do I think he could be Bivol? No. He won't beat him in a rematch. It won't happen. Like, Bivol proved in the first fight why he's just better. But this is a fighter where, like, he maximized his abilities in the ring. You know what I mean? So, shout out to Joe Smith. And, of course, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, I got to mention them. You know what I mean? They were really good this weekend. The perfect football. It was the perfect game. No punts, no turnovers.
He's rubbing it in, Mike. He's rubbing it in.
Like, nothing but touchdowns. You know what I mean? No field goals, no turnovers, no nothing. Just touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Belichick, what happened? I thought Belichick was a defensive genius and all of this and that. Like, I think they should fire Belichick after that abysmal performance as a coach. After that win, when the Bills had a perfect game, ladies and gentlemen, and Mahomes are coming after you, Chiefs are coming after you. We're going to beat you in Arrowhead, and then we're going to the AFC Championship. Let's go. Anyway, Nancy, what is your bad of the weekend?
Bad. I'm like, what is the bad? I couldn't really think of just anything that came to mind. And then I saw the confirmation that Thurman and Barrios is on pay-per-view. So I'm like, yeah, that's the bad. I'm Team Barrios, by the way, all the way. But I'm not a fan of this being on pay-per-view.
Right. Well,
so that's my bad.
Mike, what's the bad of the weekend, brother?
It's going to hurt some feelings, but that Top Rank card of the weekend, there wasn't really anything that I was like, yeah, I can't wait to see this guy fight. It was like, I mean, hey, you know what? I like Nova's mascot. That was pretty cool. That's about it. But the card wasn't nothing exciting like we're used to seeing with some of these undercards, to where one fight's a big fight or we get some crazy knockout. It was just kind of like, yeah, this person's supposed to win, this one's supposed to win, this one's supposed to win, and there it went. So I wasn't really impressed with the undercard.
And that's every time somebody says Mario del Barrio, Mario Barrios, right? I swear to God, this comes to mind. Remember Mario del Barrio? That's
the novela.
It was Talia, like probably at her
Mario del Barrio. Like, what's going on? What do you mean Mario del Barrio? Like what? Yeah. You know what? That one was bad. You know what I mean? But to me, actually, the opposite. Like,
oh, you're happy? You're happy at that pay-per-view?
No. It was bad. Hold on. It was bad that Charlo Canelo were apparently not in negotiations. I was excited about that fight. I was looking forward to that fight. You know. So when Reynosa came out and said, no, we're not going to give you that awesome fight. We're not negotiating that great fight. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, didn't Reynosa see everybody all excited about it? Like, you would think he would have been like, hey, maybe we should make this fight.
Los bajó del avión.
He's like, pendejos, we're not going to do that fight. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man. Okay.
And that's why it's the good. That's why I saw it as the good. For that reason.
Yeah, but like, we got Thurman fighting El Paletero, like on pay-per-view. I don't know what's going on. Like, let me tell you something, okay? In all seriousness, I love Mario Barrios.
Wait. The Paletero is Canelo, though. He's got his Santos Sabores paletas, if you didn't know.
Shit.
So that he is the Paletero.
Look, man, like how are you going to fight like Tank Davis's leftovers on pay-per-view, bro? Okay, like what are you doing? And he's moving up and wait to fight you. And then he's out of here like, I'm Q7. And let me tell you something, okay? I'm coming after all the best fighters in the world. Like get the fuck, sit down. Okay, you haven't fought like in 4 years or 3 years, whatever it's been.
2.5.
2.5 years this dude hasn't fought. And he's going to come back and fight Mario Barrios, and he wants to be in the title picture. He's talking about Spence Crawford like totally if he beats Mario Barrios. Like, sit down, bro. You know, I'm just saying. Keith Thurman. But anyway, but also bad of the week, by the way. I mean, you know what? I'll save it for the ugly. Nancy, the ugly of the weekend.
I don't even want to know what you're thinking. The ugly for me, and it was one of those like burn ugly, is the Cambosos tweet. I was like, like that was ugly, but I was cheering it on just because I feel like what he said had to be said. And I'm glad he said it. I'm not for Twitter wars, right?
Right.
But he spoke the truth, and so I applaud that. And it was ugly, not for us, but ugly for the fighters whose foot the shoe fit.
Okay. All right, Mike. What's the ugly of the weekend, brother?
I mean, boxing wise, there wasn't really nothing too much that was ugly, besides the fact that there wasn't more cards, I guess. So boxing wise, nothing too bad. Football wise, I feel like that's what you're going to. Obviously, get La Verga, those referees from Saturday about that.
Oh man.
I'm gonna say what Dak Prescott said. Hey, credit to the fans for throwing shit at them. That's all. I'll leave it at.
Yeah.
Yo. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give the ugly to the not everybody on Twitter that talks boxing, but man, Twitter just gets so ugly in the weekend. You know what I mean? They just do. So y'all get the ugly boxing wise, but now I'm gonna talk about what I really want to talk about. So the Dallas Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I never watched a game where like both teams didn't want to win. Like this is crazy. Okay, the Niners are like giving away the game. Like, here, Cowboys, take it. No, I don't want to win. No, you win. No, I don't want to win. Dude, the Cowboys, it was 4th and 1. They do a trick play and get a first down.
And then waste a minute.
They keep the punt team on the field. When the Niners, like, they switched out and they put the defense back out. Like, what is this? And then the 49ers, not to be outdone, by the way, you know what I mean? 4th and inches. All you got to do is a quarterback sneak. But Kyle Shanahan has to have something fancy. They shift linemen, and the lineman doesn't make it, down.
Doesn't get started.
What the fuck is this, bro? So they reverse the play. You got to punt. And then Dak Prescott's like, oh, yeah, well, hold my beer. Okay? 14 seconds. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run down the middle. Then I'm going to slide. And then we, the Cowboys, are going to spot the ball ourselves. Fuck the ref. And we're going to hike it. Like, no, bro, that's not how it works. That is the ugly of the weekend. The Dallas Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen. Good job. You got the ugly of the weekend. I'm just saying. Nancy, I know you watched the game. Don't act like you didn't watch it.
Yeah. It was bad. And to tie it to boxing, there was some fights at that game.
Oh, there was. There's videos everywhere.
So I had friends that came up from El Paso to watch the game. And it's just, for those that were Niner fans, que suave. And for those that weren't, it was a long drive home.
Then those two fan bases hate each other. That's the best part.
Oh, bad.
Like Cowboy fans are going to have to live with this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, this
here
one
in California, they hate each other bad. Yeah, they hate each other terribly in California. So,
what do Cowboy fans always do, Nancy, when they lose a game? Well, we got 5 Super Bowls, right? But you can't.
The Niners do that too. The Niners do the same thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like when they face it, they hate it because when they lose, they can't do that to the guy to them. You know what I mean? Like, well, we got 5 Super Bowls, so did we. We still fucked you up. So anyway.
I think at some point they start to sound like. At some point, they start to sound like Uncle Rico, you know.
I will say
Dynamite.
this though, it's
think-
almost a miracle that the Raiders make the playoffs, given what happened with their head coach midway through the season. So I mean, they got a good team. They'll be back.
and their dumbass receiver that killed somebody.
Man, that's crazy.
So
You know what I mean?
I actually cover Raiders. I write about them, so I was deep in that this year.
I was going to plug that in, Mike. For those of you that aren't following, please make sure that you're following Mike, and Mike, make sure to tell people, where to catch you on everything social media. But Mike here, writes for the Raiders. So as a household Raiders fan, that's where we get our news and share that with the families. So you do a really great job, Mike. And I also want to plug in that you got some really great, boxing content and interviews. I really enjoyed your Montana Love interview that you did. So after he fought, I went back and watched it again. So everybody make sure to follow Mike. Mike, you want to share with everybody?
On YouTube is 26 Sports, just 26 Sports. You'll see the logo on there. I got it right there behind me. YouTube, Twitter, Wolf2988. Just follow me there. I can't say Instagram because I don't remember what my Instagram handle is half the time. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook if you can find me. For the Raiders site that I do, it's called the Raiders Ramble. Everything Raiders on there, and then I also do writing for Vegas Sports Today. Have a weekly post called the Sweet Science Scene about boxing every week. So yeah, recap of the weekend's action every time.
Make sure you guys check that out. I want to talk about a fight that they're saying is pretty much done. Although you never know when it comes to boxing, you never know. But I'm hopeful that this is true. So Oscar Valdez, Shakur Stevenson. This is a fight that I've been saying I want. This is a fight that I feel has a storyline behind it, a history behind it, and it's a fight that I'm looking forward to. But Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez, Mike, talk to us. What do you think about that fight?
I love the fight. I've been wanting to see it since they were both at 26. It's a good fight. It's a good style for both fighters because how different they actually are. And I mean, we've been waiting for this one, honestly. As Stevenson loves to point out, he was asking for Valdez for a while, and he's wanted a big fight. Valdez has wanted to unify, and he got his chance now. Valdez could get a lot of that good grace back after everything that happened against Conceição, the testing and all that. If he beats Stevenson, I mean, how do you say anything else? You can't hate on the man. If Stevenson does it, he might be just what everybody thought he was. He might be that next guy because he's that good, I believe. And I want to see it. I do think that it is going to happen. The reason being, from what I've been told, is that this is Valdez's last fight with Top Rank. So, do you think Top Rank's really going to want him to be able to get out of there with the belts if he doesn't sign back? They're going to want to keep him there. And if Valdez pulls the upset and then he has his choice of where to go, he could ask for that much more money in his contract because he's going to be a unified champion, 2-weight division champion, and he could go wherever. But it's really going to come down to who could impose their style more and, who could take it. I mean, think Shakur, he told us before he doesn't like to get hit. So that's going to be a question because if he does get hit by that left hand by Oscar, how will he react? But his range, if Oscar can't get inside, what is he going to do? Is he going to get wild and risk getting knocked out himself? It's going to be a good fight. It's a good story. And hey, I mean, I can't wait to see it, and I hope it does get done.
Nancy?
Yeah, no, everything. I mean, everything that you just said, Mike, like I concur. I like this fight. I think personally, Shakur did win me over in the last couple of fights. I am a Valdez fan. But I think that Shakur really does have a good shot at taking this. When I think about what each of them are coming to the ring with, you got Oscar, who's coming in with having like an amazing knockout, right? Possibly for many knockout of the year last year, but he also has some of that cloud over him, like you said, and this is where he's got to come in. He's got to win some fans back. So he's got a couple things to prove there, and for Shakur, I think he's on a good streak. I think that he's coming in this. Unless there's something going on outside the ring that we're not aware of, but it seems like he's coming in this just still staying warm. I think he's ready, right? It'd be great to see this fight, and I think that stylistically it's a good matchup, but Shakur really does have a shot here. I don't want to say Shakur's going to win because I'm a Valdez fan, right? But I'm not going to.
You got to say what you got to say, Nancy. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna
You got to
say
say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah, I definitely am rooting for Valdez, but man, Shakur's really got a good shot.
Right now, Nancy's doing the Zurdo Ramirez right now. Like I'm going for Valdez, man.
Right. Both of them. I do like both. Like I said, a couple of fights ago, I would have just said Valdez because I wasn't won over by Tank yet. I really wasn't by Shakur yet. So I think a couple fights can make a big difference. And so here I am, where I never thought I would be, and now I'm thinking, man, he can really take it.
Well, this is what I could say. So,
Brandon Lee in the chat.
Is that I don't know. That's the real Brandon Lee because there's just so many weird people on YouTube. But if it is, shout out to you, brother. But here's what I want to say. First of all, Alex Doomsday, ladies in the chat, brother, you won the poster. Congratulations to Doomy. Okay, you won the posters. Congratulations to him. Am I the only one? Because this is how I feel.
Tell us how you feel. How you really feel.
I was telling people that Shakur's going to handle Herring. Okay, I said he's going to handle this dude. He's going to win 12 rounds, unanimous decision. Now he stopped him, so he won it better than I thought he would. But I did feel like he would dominate Herring. I did. Now all the people that were picking Herring to win, right, were telling me, no, we don't know anything about him. He hasn't been tested yet, right? Like after he beats Herring the way I kind of thought he would. Out of nowhere, these dudes are acting like Shakur Stevenson's invincible or something. This dude's good. Valdez has no shot. Like, no shot? What do you mean has no shot? I'm not saying I'm picking Valdez to win, but this no shot thing, I am sorry. Beating Herring doesn't make you the next Money Mayweather, okay? It just doesn't. Herring is a great guy, Marine, good person. Good fighter, solid jab, okay? But he was a 10-1 underdog, ladies and gentlemen, in that fight. And he was a 10-1 underdog for a reason. The bookies, okay, and people that follow boxing just knew he was going to beat Herring. Like, we just knew it, okay? Now, I'll give Shakur this. No one thought he was going to stop Herring. That was impressive. I won't take that away, right? I mean, beating Herring is impressive anyway, but the fact that he beat him by stoppage was the big deal, right? And that's a fan account. He just confirmed it. Yeah. But I give Valdez a shot, man. I do. Like 60-40 type of shot. Like 40% Valdez, 60 Shakur's. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. Because I seen Hoyt catch him against the ropes and land a good hook on him. If that's Valdez, is he still standing? I don't know. You know what I mean? I just don't know if he is. I don't know if he could take that shot the same way and keep going. You know what I mean? So aside from Herring, who else is Shakur beating that makes people so sure he's going to dominate and beat Valdez at all costs?
If you want to be honest, it's when he fought Pitfulo Diaz. He fought him real early, and he
Okay.
dominated him like no one thought he would. That's when I really started to pay a lot more attention to Shakur. I always thought he was good, but that's when I was like, okay, he just really beat this dude up who just challenged for a belt and like beat him up. So I think so. So as you said though, I give Oscar a legitimate chance. I do want to talk to him before the fight. Nancy, you remember when I spoke to him last year before he fought Burchell? When speaking to him, I immediately said, okay, he's going to win this fight. And I said he's going to win by knockout. After I talked to him, he had this confidence that was legit. He was in tune. He told me, we have this plan. We're ready to go. And I told everybody he's going to knock him out. I was like, I believe he's going to knock him out. And then he did. So I want to speak to him again just to see where he's at before the fight. But right now, I would make Shakur the favorite. But anything could happen, as you said. If he gets caught with that left hand, what happens? If he catches him with any of the shots that he caught Burchell, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Stevenson I've seen him get hit and he can take a punch, but when he gets hit good enough, you never know. It's not until they get that real good shot. I mean, we talked about Ryan Garcia. We always talked about, man, when he gets hit good enough, what's going to happen? He got dropped. And that was against a puncher that's not the biggest one. Oscar's a legit puncher. If he hits Shakur and Shakur goes down, does Shakur pop back up and try to like regain his spot right there? Or does he start moving and maybe give the fight, away somehow? So it's a legit fight. And
well said. Mike, tell everybody where they can find you on social media here on YouTube.
YouTube 26 Sports. You'll see again the logos in the back right there. Also got a header that's from Hector Hexar on all the social media accounts. Is a graphic designer. But yeah, YouTube is 26 Sports. Twitter is Wolf2988. Instagram, let me find that real quick. It's actually Mike 31 or it's Mike 021989. Check it out there. Again, just I'm on everything. I'm constantly talking about boxing, anything else. So find me. I follow back on every account. So just go ahead and I'll have a lot more videos and interviews coming up soon. With a lot of your guys' favorite fighters, as I like to say, everybody that likes boxing, I will have something for everybody this year. So go ahead and tune in. And thank you guys for having me, man. I really had fun.
There you go, brother. Have a go, man, and we'll see you again.
You too.
Thanks, Mike. Everybody follow Mike. He's got great content, great interviews, and I think I'll probably make my decision after he talks to Tank, because it's he said, he got the vibe when he spoke to him the last time. So I'm going to wait for that interview, and then I'm going to give my final on that one.
Okay. All right. Nancy, give us some final words before we go.
Final words. I feel like boxing needs to hurry up and ramp up, right? It still feels like it's been a little sluggish, the first couple of weeks into the new year. Yeah, I do. I feel, you had like the Vargas fight cancel. I'm gonna be honest, the Smith fight I didn't watch. I just caught the highlights. Feels like a little sluggish, but it is a quarter filled with boxing, so I am excited about that. It just needs to pick up, needs to spice up. But thank you everybody for the follows. So I'm at Boxing Republic. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, and that's Facebook. And I just always like to remind people, because I referenced it in the show today. Lee Groves does have a book, so you saw him in the chat. And in celebration of Muhammad Ali's birthday yesterday, CompuBox, and that's Muhammad Ali by the numbers. So it's a really, really, really great book. And I really recommend that y'all get it. So that's it. That's it for me. Thank you for having me.
By the way, DJ Machika says, facts, Nancy. Fakes.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Shout out to Beth. And you know what? Shout out to we had a lot of, I'm going to assume Beth, female. We had a lot of females in the chat today. So shout out to everybody. Thank you for watching.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to thank everybody for coming on. Shout out to Nando. I'm getting some Julius of Chavez vibes from Valdez. Shakur the better boxer. Will Valdez eat 3 punches to land the heavier ones? Great fight, great comment. We will see about that. Shout out to everybody. I'll go ahead and close out with DJ Menchika once again. Once again, Nancy, thank you for joining me today. And
Thank
everyone
you.
have a good one. All right. Peace out.
You're now listening to Hispanics Causing Panic, baby. Let's do this.
But right now, Hispanics are causing black. But right now, Hispanics are causing black. Yeah, he goes.